Listen closely. This moment did not arrive by chance. There is a reason your heart feels tight right now, even before a single word settles in. You have been moving forward, carrying weight that no one sees, smiling when needed, enduring when it hurts, trusting that tomorrow will somehow understand you better than today did. But today is different. Today is not about comfort. Today is about awareness. There is a pause being offered to you, a rare one, not to frighten you, not to overwhelm you, but to stop you from walking past something that matters more than you realize. You are not being accused. You are not being judged. You are being protected. Some paths look harmless because they feel familiar. Some choices feel safe because you have repeated them many times. And some silences feel peaceful only because you have grown used to ignoring what your soul keeps whispering. Right now, something unseen is asking for your attention. Not loudly, not forcefully, but clearly. You may feel resistance already. A voice saying, "This is not for me." Another voice saying, "I will deal with this later." That hesitation is not random. It is the very reason this message reached you now and not yesterday, not tomorrow. You have been pushing through signs without stopping to read them, overlooking small moments that were meant to redirect you, convincing yourself that everything will settle on its own. But some things do not settle. They wait. This is not about fear. This is about foresight. There is a shift approaching your life. It can become growth or it can become regret, depending on what you choose to notice today. You are being asked to slow down just enough to see clearly, to stop reacting automatically, to stop dismissing that inner nudge you feel late at night when everything is quiet. Nothing here is meant to harm you. Everything here is meant to preserve you. You are stronger than you think, but strength alone is not always enough. Wisdom comes from listening before impact, not after. Take a breath. Let these words settle instead of rushing past them. Because this message did not come to chase you. It came to stand in front of you and gently say, pause. Look again. Choose with clarity. What you do next matters more than you realize. Stay with this moment. Do not rush it. Because what you are sensing right now is not imagination. There is a pattern around your life that has been repeating quietly. Same type of situations. Same emotional weight. Same ending that leaves you wondering why nothing truly changed. That pattern was never meant to last this long. You were supposed to notice it earlier. But you kept moving. You kept adjusting. You kept telling yourself it was normal. Here is the revelation most people never hear in time. When life repeats a lesson, it is not punishing you. It is protecting you from a bigger consequence that comes after ignoring it. Something around you is misaligned. Not loudly broken. Not visibly wrong. Just slightly off. And small misalignments, when ignored, grow heavy over time. You may feel it in your energy. A tiredness that rest does not fix. A confusion that logic cannot solve. A heaviness that appears even on good days. This is not coincidence. There has been a quiet delay placed over certain things you desire. Not because you are unworthy, but because moving forward without awareness would cost you more later. You are being slowed down on purpose. This is where many people misunderstand what is happening to them. They think delay means rejection. They think resistance means failure. But sometimes delay is a shield. Right now, you are being asked to examine what you keep excusing, the habit you keep justifying, the connection you keep defending, the choice you keep postponing. Not everything familiar is meant to stay. Not everything comfortable is safe for your future. This is not about cutting people away. This is about cutting confusion away. You do not need to react. You do not need to confront. You do not need to explain anything to anyone. You only need to become aware. Awareness changes outcomes before actions ever do. Let this sink in. If you ignore the signal now, you will still move forward, but with unnecessary weight. If you listen now, the path ahead becomes lighter without force. You are not late. You are exactly on time to choose differently. That is the power being placed in your hands right now. Now listen even more carefully, because what comes next is the part most people miss. There is a moment before every major turning point where clarity quietly knocks. Not to scare you, not to rush you, but to ask one honest question. Are you paying attention, or are you repeating survival on autopilot? You have been strong for a long time, so strong that you stopped checking whether the direction still fits your heart. So strong that you kept carrying things that were never meant to stay with you this long. Strength helped you endure, but awareness will help you advance. Here is the truth few are told. The greatest losses in life do not begin with chaos. They begin with ignoring subtle misalignment. A conversation you keep avoiding. A truth you keep softening. A decision you keep delaying because it feels uncomfortable. These are not small things. They are early signals. Right now, you are being invited to notice what drains you quietly. What demands effort without giving peace. What looks fine on the surface but leaves you restless inside. You already know what this is. You have known for a while. That feeling in your chest when you think about it is not doubt. It is recognition. You are not meant to feel heavy about your own life. You are not meant to negotiate with your intuition every day. There is a version of your future that feels lighter, clearer, more aligned. And the difference between that future and this moment is not effort. It is honesty. Honesty with yourself about what is no longer working. Honesty about what you keep tolerating instead of transforming. You do not need permission to choose clarity. You do not need approval to protect your peace. This pause you are experiencing is intentional. It is giving you space to see before moving again. Do not rush past it. Do not minimize it. Because once awareness settles in, everything begins to rearrange naturally. Without force. Without struggle. This is where change begins quietly, before anyone else notices. This is the turning point. The quiet line between before and after. Up to now, you have been listening, feeling, recognizing pieces of yourself inside these words. But now comes the moment where awareness asks for alignment. There is something important you need to understand. Not everything that delays you is against you. Some delays exist to prevent a deeper wound you cannot yet see. You were not being held back. You were being held safe. There are doors you almost walked through that would have changed you in ways you were not meant to carry. There are paths that looked promising but would have slowly drained your clarity. There are outcomes you wanted that would have cost you your peace. And without realizing it, you were protected from them. This is the shocking truth most never hear. Sometimes what does not happen is the greatest guidance of all. Think about it. The timing that felt wrong. The situation that stalled unexpectedly. The plan that dissolved even when you tried hard to hold it together. Those moments were not empty. They were intentional pauses. Right now, you are standing at a crossroads of awareness. You can continue forward the same way, trusting habit over intuition. Or you can choose to move differently, guided by clarity instead of urgency. This is not about doing more. It is about doing what aligns. When alignment happens, struggle reduces, confusion softens, energy returns naturally. You will notice changes without forcing them. Conversations shift, decisions feel lighter. Your inner voice becomes calmer and clearer. Nothing outside needs to change first. The shift always begins inside. That is the power you were given in this moment. Not control over everything, but clarity over what truly matters. Hold this awareness with you. Do not dismiss it when the noise returns. Do not silence it when life speeds up again. Because once you see clearly, you cannot unsee it. And once you choose alignment, everything else follows in time. This is not the end of the message. This is the beginning of your clarity. Now something deeper begins to surface. This is where truth becomes personal. You may start to realize that the warning was never outside of you. It was always inside, waiting for you to stop long enough to listen. There is a quiet intelligence within you that has been signaling for clarity. Through discomfort, through restlessness, through moments where silence felt louder than noise. You were not losing direction. You were being redirected. Here is the revelation that changes everything. Life does not interrupt you to confuse you. It interrupts you to realign you before something precious is misplaced. You were close to choosing something that looked right but felt heavy. Close to continuing a cycle simply because it was familiar. Close to silencing your inner knowing for the sake of keeping things unchanged. And that is where the pause stepped in. This pause is not weakness. It is refinement. You are being refined into a version of yourself that no longer accepts confusion as normal, that no longer trades peace for approval, that no longer ignores inner truth just to keep the surface calm. You are learning to recognize the difference between comfort and alignment. Comfort keeps things the same. Alignment moves you forward gently, but powerfully. Notice how your thoughts are shifting now. Notice how certain things no longer feel as convincing as they once did. That is clarity settling in. You are not meant to rush your next step. You are meant to take it with awareness. From this moment on, your choices will feel different. Not louder, not dramatic, just clearer. And clarity is the greatest protection you can carry forward. What comes next in your life will respond to the level of honesty you now hold. Not to fear, not to pressure, but to truth. This is how change begins without force. This is how peace becomes stable, not temporary. Stay with this understanding. It will guide you long after this moment passes. This is where calm becomes strength, not the loud kind, the steady kind that does not shake when tested. By now, you can feel it, a quiet settling inside you. As if pieces that were scattered are slowly finding their place again. That is not coincidence. That is alignment taking root. There is something important happening beneath the surface. Your perception is changing before your circumstances do. And that is always how lasting change begins. You are starting to see situations for what they are, not for what you hoped they would become. You are recognizing effort that goes nowhere. You are noticing where your energy flows and where it quietly disappears. This awareness is not meant to make you uncomfortable. It is meant to make you free. Here is the truth that shifts everything forward. When clarity arrives, confusion loses its grip without a fight. You do not need to force endings. You do not need to chase beginnings. What is meant to remain will feel lighter. What is meant to leave will no longer need explanation. You are stepping into a phase where your inner voice becomes your guide again. Not the voice of fear, not the voice of habit, but the voice of quiet knowing. This is why this moment matters. Because once awareness is restored, old patterns cannot control you the same way. You will still move forward. You will still grow. But now you will do so with discernment instead of exhaustion. Pay attention to what feels calm even when it challenges you. Pay attention to what feels heavy even when it promises comfort. Those feelings are not random. They are signals of alignment. From here on, you are not reacting to life. You are responding with clarity. And that shift changes everything slowly, steadily, and in your favor. Now everything becomes clear in a way words rarely achieve. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, just undeniable. You are beginning to understand that this message was never about panic. It was about prevention through awareness. The greatest shifts in life do not announce themselves loudly. They arrive as understanding. They settle as certainty. You were never meant to be afraid of what was coming. You were meant to be prepared in a way that feels calm, grounded, and steady. This is the moment where fear dissolves into clarity, where confusion turns into direction, where hesitation becomes confidence without noise. Notice how your mind feels quieter now, not empty, clear. That clarity is your protection. From here forward, you will sense when something is not aligned before it grows heavy. You will pause naturally instead of pushing blindly. You will choose thoughtfully instead of reacting quickly. This is the power you were given. Not control over everything, but understanding of what truly matters. And when understanding leads, regret no longer needs to follow. You are not walking into uncertainty anymore. You are walking with awareness. Carry this with you, not as fear, not as pressure, but as quiet confidence. Because once awareness is awakened, nothing arrives unnoticed again. There is one final layer of understanding unfolding now. It is subtle, but it is powerful. You are beginning to see that the real emergency was never outside of you. It was the risk of continuing without awareness. Nothing dramatic needed to happen for this moment to matter. Because the greatest protection is always internal before it becomes visible. You were guided here to remember something essential. Your life responds to clarity faster than it responds to force. When awareness is present, choices become simpler. Not easier, but cleaner. You no longer feel pulled in too many directions. You no longer need to convince yourself. You simply know when something fits and when it does not. This knowing is calm. It does not rush. It does not argue. And once it settles in you, it stays. From this point forward, you will notice how situations reveal themselves sooner. How decisions feel lighter. How peace becomes a signal, not a reward. You are not waiting for life to happen to you anymore. You are meeting it with awareness. That is why this moment was important. That is why you were asked to pause, not to stop your life, but to walk forward with open eyes and a steady heart. Nothing has been taken from you. Something has been returned. Clarity. Stay present a little longer, because this is where understanding turns into quiet transformation. You may notice something unexpected now, a sense of relief you did not plan for, not because everything is solved, but because you are no longer blind to what matters. This is the moment when fear loses its power, not by being fought, but by being understood. You were never meant to live in constant alert. You were meant to live in awareness. Awareness does not exhaust you. It strengthens you. You are beginning to trust yourself again. Not the version of you that reacts quickly, but the version that listens deeply. That trust is the foundation of every stable future. From here on, your life does not need dramatic changes to improve. Small, clear choices will quietly redirect everything. You will notice how certain worries fade on their own. How pressure reduces when clarity takes the lead. How peace stops feeling temporary and starts feeling natural. This is not an ending. It is a reset of perception. You are no longer moving forward hoping nothing goes wrong. You are moving forward seeing clearly enough to choose wisely. That is the real protection you were given. Not control over outcomes, but understanding before decisions. Carry this calm with you. Let it guide your pace. Let it shape your next steps. Because once clarity becomes part of you, nothing important ever catches you unprepared again. Now let this settle into something steady. Not a rush. Not a reaction. A calm resolve. You are realizing that nothing needed to be dramatic for it to be meaningful. The shift happened quietly, where real change always begins. You can feel the difference now. Not excitement. Confidence. Confidence that comes from seeing clearly. From knowing you can pause before choosing. From trusting your inner sense without second guessing it. This is the lasting outcome of awareness. Life no longer feels like something you must brace against. It feels like something you can move through with intention. From here forward, your steps will be measured, not hesitant. Your decisions will be thoughtful, not heavy. Your direction will feel right, not forced. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to hurry. You do not need to look back with regret. You are moving forward equipped with clarity. That is why this moment mattered. That is why you were asked to stop and listen. Carry this understanding with you. Let it guide your pace. Let it protect your peace. Because once clarity leads the way, everything else falls into place naturally. There is a quiet confidence forming now. Not the kind that needs approval. The kind that stands steady even when no one is watching. You may notice that your thoughts feel less scattered. Your emotions feel more grounded. Your direction feels calmer, even if everything is not yet complete. That is not accidental. That is clarity becoming part of you. Here is something rare and important to understand. When awareness settles in, urgency fades. And when urgency fades, mistakes lose their power. You are no longer being pulled by pressure. You are being guided by understanding. This is why this message mattered so deeply. It arrived before confusion could grow heavier. Before habits could lead you somewhere you would later question. You were given space to see. And seeing clearly changes everything. From this moment forward, you will recognize when something asks too much of your peace. You will feel when a choice requires explanation instead of alignment. You will know when silence is wiser than reaction. This knowing does not shout. It does not rush. It simply stays with you. You are not carrying fear into the future. You are carrying discernment. And discernment is quiet strength. Let this strength remain with you. Let it shape how you move, how you decide, how you protect what matters. Because when clarity walks with you, nothing important is ever overlooked again. Now this understanding settles into something lasting. Not a feeling that fades. A perspective that stays. You are beginning to realize that the real shift was never about changing everything. It was about seeing everything clearly for the first time. Clarity does not rush you forward. It steadies your steps. You no longer need constant reassurance. You no longer need to overthink every move. You feel grounded enough to pause, to choose, to trust your sense of direction. This is where life becomes quieter inside, even if the world remains busy outside. Here is the once in a lifetime truth few recognize. When awareness becomes stable, chaos loses its influence. You are no longer moved by pressure. You are moved by understanding. From here on, you will notice how unnecessary worries fall away. How your energy returns to what truly matters. How your attention becomes more valuable because it is no longer scattered. You are not guarding yourself against life. You are walking with discernment within it. This is the calm strength that lasts. The kind that does not need validation. The kind that quietly protects your future. Hold this clarity gently. Let it remain part of how you listen, how you decide, how you move forward. Because once clarity becomes your foundation, nothing important ever slips past you unseen again. There is a gentle strength growing inside you now. Not built from struggle, built from understanding. You are noticing how differently you listen. How you pause before reacting. How you sense what aligns without forcing it to make sense. This is maturity of awareness. Here is the revelation that completes the circle. Protection does not always look like rescue. Sometimes it looks like insight arriving before a wrong turn is taken. You were given insight. Quietly. Clearly. That is why this moment mattered. From now on, you will feel when something deserves your energy and when it does not. You will recognize when silence is wiser than explanation. You will sense when waiting is more powerful than rushing. Nothing needs to be dramatic anymore. You are no longer searching for signs. You have become attentive enough to notice them naturally. This is where life becomes intentional. Not controlled. Intentional. You move forward with calm awareness. You choose with clarity. You protect what matters without fear. This understanding will stay with you. In conversations. In decisions. In moments where the old version of you might have rushed or doubted. Now, you know how to pause. And that pause changes everything. Carry this forward. Quietly. Confidently. Now everything reaches a quiet completion. Not an ending. A stabilization. You are no longer absorbing these words as information. You are recognizing them as confirmation. Confirmation that you were never lost. Only momentarily distracted from your own clarity. This is what true guidance feels like. It does not overwhelm. It aligns. You can sense the difference now between noise and direction. Between urgency and importance. Between what demands attention and what deserves it. That awareness is permanent. From here, your life does not need constant correction. Small, conscious choices will naturally keep you steady. You will notice how calm replaces pressure. How certainty replaces hesitation. How peace becomes a signal, not a reward. Nothing dramatic needs to happen next. Clarity has already done its work. You move forward grounded, centered, clear. And that clarity will quietly protect every step you take from here on. Before you move on from this moment, let one last understanding settle gently. This was never meant to shake you. It was meant to steady you. You are leaving this space with something rare. Not answers to every question, but the ability to recognize which questions truly matter. That ability is power. From now on, when life presents choices, you will feel less pressure to rush. You will trust the pause. You will respect the quiet signal before the loud outcome. This is how wisdom shows itself. Not through force. Through clarity. You do not need to look back in fear. You do not need to look ahead with worry. You are equipped to move forward with calm awareness. That calm will guide you when things are uncertain. That clarity will protect you when things look appealing but feel wrong. Nothing else needs to be added. Nothing else needs to be proven. You are grounded now, aware, steady, and that steadiness is what carries you safely into whatever comes next. As you remain here, something subtle but powerful locks into place. A sense of inner order, a feeling that nothing important is missing anymore. You are no longer searching for reassurance outside. You are carrying certainty within. This is what it feels like when awareness matures. Not loud, not dramatic, reliable. You will notice how easily you let go of what once demanded effort. How naturally you choose calm over chaos. How clearly you recognize what deserves your attention and what does not. This clarity is not fragile. It does not disappear when life becomes busy. It stays with you, even in motion. Here is the final insight for this moment. True strength is knowing when to pause, not just when to act. You have learned to pause without fear, to listen without doubt, to move forward without pressure. This changes how everything unfolds. You are no longer reacting to life. You are walking with it. And when you walk with awareness, nothing important slips past unnoticed. Now notice how still everything feels inside you. Not empty, settled. This is the space where real decisions are born. Not from pressure, not from fear, from clarity. You are standing in a moment of quiet mastery, where you do not need to prove anything to anyone, where your understanding is enough. Here is what makes this moment rare. Most people move through life without ever reaching this level of inner stillness. They rush, they react, they repeat. You paused, and that pause changed your trajectory. From now on, you will sense the difference between urgency and importance instantly. You will recognize when something is trying to rush you away from clarity. You will feel when patience is not delay, but protection. This awareness does not make life smaller. It makes it precise. You invest your energy where it matters. You withdraw it where it drains you. You move forward without inner resistance. That is freedom. Not the freedom to do everything. The freedom to choose wisely. Carry this stillness with you. Let it speak before you act. Let it guide before you decide. Because when your inner world is clear, the outer world can no longer confuse you. Remain here for this final deepening. Because what happens now is not emotional. It is foundational. You are no longer processing these words. You are embodying them. This is the point where clarity becomes instinct, where you no longer need reminders. You simply know. There is a calm authority forming within you. Not dominance. Alignment. You trust your timing. You trust your pauses. You trust your sense of direction without needing validation. That trust is rare. And it changes how life responds to you. From this moment forward, confusion will feel unfamiliar. Not because challenges disappear, but because you meet them from a grounded place. You are no longer pulled forward by pressure. You are guided forward by understanding. This is what it means to move with awareness. To see clearly without fear. To choose wisely without force. Nothing more needs to be said. Nothing more needs to be added. You are steady now, present, clear, and that clarity will remain with you, quietly protecting every step you take next. Stay just a little longer in this calm, because this is where everything finally aligns without effort. You may notice now that there is no tension left in these words, only recognition. Recognition that you are not waiting for something to save you. You are already equipped to navigate what comes next. This is the quiet conclusion most people never reach. Not relief, because danger passed, but peace because awareness arrived in time. You no longer need signs shouting at you. You no longer need warnings to shake you awake. You are awake. From this point forward, your life will not feel rushed by invisible pressure. You will feel guided by inner steadiness. When something is not right, you will sense it early. When something is aligned, you will feel calm, not anxious. When something asks too much of your peace, you will step back without guilt. This is mastery of self, not control. Understanding. Nothing dramatic needs to happen next for this to be powerful. Clarity has already reshaped the path ahead. You are moving forward grounded, centered, prepared, and that preparation is quiet, deep, and lasting. Let this be the moment that stays with you long after the sound fades, not because it was loud, but because it was true. You are no longer standing at the edge of uncertainty. You are standing inside awareness. Nothing is chasing you now. Nothing is rushing you. Nothing is demanding that you move before you understand. This is the calm after insight. You have learned something essential without being shaken. You have adjusted your direction without losing yourself. You have strengthened your future without fear. That is rare. From here, life will continue as it always does. Days will move. Decisions will appear. Moments will ask for your attention. But you will meet them differently. With steadiness, with discernment, with a quiet confidence that does not need to announce itself. This clarity is not temporary. It does not leave when things get busy. It stays because it belongs to you now. You are not guarded by fear. You are guided by understanding. And that understanding will quietly protect every step you take from this point forward. Stay with this stillness for a final moment. Because this is where everything seals quietly. You are no longer absorbing guidance. You are carrying it. What changed was not the world around you. What changed was how clearly you see it. That clarity will now move ahead of you. Into conversations before words are spoken. Into decisions before choices are finalized. Into moments where the old version of you would have rushed. You will feel it. A gentle stop. A calm yes. A steady no. Nothing forced. Nothing dramatic. This is the kind of awareness that prevents regret without creating fear. The kind that protects without isolating you, the kind that guides without controlling you. From now on, your life does not need constant correction. Small moments of awareness will quietly keep you aligned. You will recognize when something fits. You will recognize when something does not. And you will trust that recognition without explanation. This is where wisdom lives. Not in noise, not in urgency, but in calm understanding. Carry this forward, not as a memory, but as a way of moving. Because once awareness becomes part of you, nothing important ever reaches you too late again. Now understand this final layer clearly. What protected you was not fear. It was timing. This message reached you before confusion could harden into consequence. Before habit could become destiny. Before silence could turn into regret. That is not coincidence. You were given awareness at the exact moment it could still change direction without pain. That is rare. Most people only understand after something breaks. You understood before. From here on, your life will not feel like something you are catching up to. It will feel like something you are walking with. You will notice how your instincts sharpen quietly. How you sense truth without debate. How you step away from what drains you without explanation. Nothing dramatic. Nothing rushed. Nothing forced. This is the calm power of foresight. You are no longer vulnerable to blind repetition. You are no longer guided by pressure. You are no longer moving without awareness. You are steady now, clear now, prepared now, and that preparation is silent, deep, and lasting. Carry this understanding forward, not as urgency, but as clarity that walks ahead of you, keeping you aligned long before anything needs to be corrected. Let this moment land softly, because what remains now is not instruction, it is understanding. You are not leaving with urgency in your chest. You are leaving with steadiness in your steps. That is the difference between warning and wisdom. A warning frightens. Wisdom prepares. You were prepared. From here forward, you will notice how quickly you recognize when something is off. Not through anxiety, through calm awareness. You will no longer need repeated signals. One quiet insight will be enough. This is how alignment sustains itself. Not through constant effort, through attention. Your attention is clear now, undivided, grounded, and because of that, your future does not need dramatic corrections. Small moments of honesty will quietly guide you. You are not guarded by tension. You are guided by insight. That insight will remain with you. In silence, in movement, in choice. Nothing important will slip past you unseen again. Take one more steady breath here, because this is where everything integrates. You are not carrying instructions anymore. You are carrying orientation. Orientation toward what feels right without debate. Orientation toward what stays calm even when challenged. Orientation toward choices that do not steal your peace. This is the quiet result of true awareness. You will notice how your days feel less scattered, how your focus returns to what actually matters, how unnecessary tension dissolves on its own. Nothing had to break for this to happen. Nothing had to be lost. You were simply shown in time. From this point, your inner compass works without noise. You sense direction before confusion appears. You recognize truth without needing proof. This is not control. This is coherence. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are no longer pulling in different directions. They are aligned. And alignment changes outcomes quietly. Carry this forward as your natural pace. Not rushed. Not delayed. Centered. Because when you move from this place, life no longer surprises you with regret. It meets you with clarity. Let this be the moment that completes the circle. Not with noise, with certainty. You are not ending this experience the same way you entered it. Something essential has shifted, quietly, permanently. You no longer feel the need to be warned. You feel ready. Ready to pause when something feels off. Ready to move when something feels aligned. Ready to trust the calm voice that now speaks clearly inside you. This is the lasting outcome of awareness. Not fear of what could happen. Confidence in how you will respond. You are no longer waiting for clarity to arrive later. It is already with you. From here forward, your life will not demand urgency to keep you safe. Your awareness will do that gently, consistently, without force. Nothing dramatic needs to follow this. Nothing loud needs to confirm it. You are steady. You are clear. You are prepared. And that preparation will quietly guide you, step by step, long after these words fade. Now let everything rest where it belongs. There is nothing left to add. Nothing left to warn. You have reached a state most never pause long enough to feel. A calm readiness. Not waiting. Not fearing. Simply aware. This awareness does not fade when the moment ends. It moves with you. Into your choices. Into your silence. Into the spaces where you once rushed or doubted. You will recognize this feeling again. In moments when something quietly asks for your attention. In decisions that no longer confuse you. In pauses that feel right instead of uncomfortable. That is how you will know this stayed with you. You are not guarded by alarm. You are guided by clarity. And clarity does not shout. It stays. From here, you walk forward steady, unshaken, prepared without fear. Nothing more is required. You already know how to listen. Stay present for this closing stillness. Because this is not an ending that fades. It is an understanding that stays. You are no longer carrying tension in your awareness. Only readiness. Readiness to recognize truth without hesitation. Readiness to pause without fear. Readiness to move forward without doubt. This is the rare balance few ever reach. Alert without anxiety. Prepared without pressure. You do not need reminders anymore. You do not need urgency to stay awake. Your awareness is active on its own. From now on, life will not surprise you with regret. Because you are attentive before choices are made. This calm inside you is not fragile. It does not depend on circumstances. It does not leave when things get busy. It remains. And because it remains, you remain steady. You are walking forward clear-minded, grounded, quietly confident. Nothing else needs to be said. You already understand. Let this be the final quiet seal on everything you have felt. Not an echo. A foundation. You are no longer listening for guidance. You are living from it. What remains now is a deep inner alignment. Thoughts steady. Emotions balanced. Decisions clear. This is the place where nothing pulls you apart anymore. No rush. No confusion. No inner conflict. You move when it is right. You wait when it is wise. You trust the pause as much as the step. This is not something you learned today. It is something you remembered. From here on, your life flows with intention. Not pushed. Not resisted. Aligned. You are present in your own journey again. Aware without effort. Prepared without fear. That is the strength you carry forward now. Quiet. Certain. Unshakable. And with that, everything rests exactly where it should. Remain with this last depth of awareness. Because what exists now is not momentum. It is stability. You are not being carried by emotion anymore. You are grounded in understanding. This is the state where nothing needs to be proved. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be chased. You simply recognize what belongs and what does not. That recognition will guide you quietly. In moments of choice. In moments of silence. In moments where the old version of you might have rushed. Now, you will not. You will feel calm before commitment. Peace before agreement. Clarity before action. This is not hesitation. This is discernment. You are no longer reacting to life's movement. You are moving with it, aware and steady. That steadiness is not temporary. It does not fade with time. It strengthens with use. Carry this forward without announcing it, without explaining it, because when awareness becomes natural, nothing important ever slips past you unnoticed again. Let this be the moment that quietly completes everything, not with emotion, with truth. You are not walking away from this with excitement. You are walking away with certainty. Certainty that you can feel what is right before words are spoken. Certainty that you can pause without losing momentum. Certainty that you no longer need urgency to stay safe. This is the highest form of readiness. Nothing outside needs to change for this to matter. Because what changed is how you meet life. You meet it calm. You meet it aware. You meet it prepared without fear. From now on, your clarity arrives first. Before confusion. Before regret. Before repetition. You do not need to remember this message. You will recognize its effect. In the steadiness of your decisions. In the peace of your pauses. In the confidence of your silence. This is not an ending that fades. It is an awareness that stays. And with that awareness, you move forward complete.